We're not even in the scene here.
Oops.
Would you do that?
Dang it.
For? Hello.
All right, I think that's good.
We're recording our live for the podcast.
Great. What's up, Anthony?
For
What's up, my brother?
hi. For episode 12, this is our commentary for episode 12, which is releasing tomorrow, which, goodness
Right.
gracious, I just stopped listening to it and
This
I love
is
it so much.
A new thing we started doing. We're actually recording the podcast that will be edited, but we're letting our people just in on the scene. So there's going to be mess ups, there's going to be outtakes. You won't hear it on the podcast, but
You can just behind the
what we're
scenes
doing.
flow. Why aren't you in this camera, though?
Anthony, I want to thank you again, man. That show was really a lot of fun. So
Every time I talk to you, I just think to myself, I wish I was a preacher. You're so good.
I know. What's
So
up, T?
good.
How's it
Okay.
going? Good to see you.
What's that? This is buzzing. All
Tanny,
right,
are you no, you're working from home. I thought banks were
Check,
furloughed right
check.
now, but I guess not.
Check, check, check. Are you ready to check? Go.
Check. Hello.
Talk.
Test,
You ready?
test. Hello?
Okay.
Question mark. What's going on? Okay. So you guys, we're not really taking questions. Well, I guess we can kind of take questions, but we're actually recording the podcast. And it's just, again, a behind the scenes thing. So it's kind of low key, not like you're open. The bank is open. Got to get that money.
I'm going to do this. This is funny.
All right.
Okay,
Oh,
look.
that's funny. Okay, my notes are on that phone, so I got to use it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I'm ready to start. Are you ready?
Hold on. Episode 12 of season 1. What's the name of it?
Only ourselves to blame.
Got to maintain the financial stability. Yeah, I know.
Are you ready?
High key. Oh, it's
So,
high key, not low key. I get it.
Season.
Season
one.
1. Only ourselves to blame. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Okay, I took me.
Come on.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm texting somebody.
Hello and welcome to the Anatomy of Marriage podcast. I am your host, Melanie Studley.
What's up, my good friends? My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and we are excited.
I know. I'm so excited.
You know why we're excited?
No,
because
tell me.
today is episode 12 of season 1.
Only ourselves to blame.
Only ourselves to blame. And I listened to it last week, and I re-listened to it again, and I got the feels for it.
Oh, it's such a good episode.
I did.
I can't get enough of this episode.
And if we weren't doing the 75 hard, and we can like toast to champagne, then I would toast you right now and have some bubbly. But that's not a thing.
I know.
Maybe after a couple of weeks when we're done,
That's right.
we will toast to
Yes.
it. But
if you're new here, welcome. We have a marriage podcast called the Anatomy of Marriage podcast, and it's all about helping marriages because ours was so incredibly terrible. And if you've listened to the last 12 episodes, you know that now.
Yeah.
But we love everything marriage and relationship related because of the crap we had to dredge ourselves through.
we lived it. We got through it. I'm a marriage and family therapist. We know some stuff. And we love to help people. And we love to talk about it. Oh, and guess what? We still go through some of that stuff. Not to the insane extent that we did way back when, but we're still working through it because that's what it is. It's a journey, not a destination, and that is what it was and is and always will be for us.
That's right. So without further ado, here is episode 12, Only Ourselves to Blame. Enjoy.
All right. Enjoy.
Pause.
Okay, hold on. Let me grab my notes first.
The music in this episode,
Keep on
the
talking.
end 6 minutes of this episode. I'm going to have to say it all again. I shouldn't say any of this.
Oh, yeah, just wait.
Hurry up and get your notes. Hurry up.
You can't be rude to me right now. Okay. Oh, jeez. Oh, I got some.
Bring it. Oh!
And we're back. I wanted to catch you in that high note. So, I got some preaching to do.
All right.
On this.
I'm seeing it.
Okay.
Well, hold
You're
on.
gonna
We
see it or
got
listen
to
to it?
get Seth Studley. What do you think about that episode?
I was already started 30 seconds
I know.
ago. But that's a good episode.
It is the best.
Straight up. It is a good episode. You know why it's so good? Because it just reiterated what we have recently been learning in real time, and I think we're on the same page, right? Extreme ownership.
Yes.
Right? So tell me about that.
I thought it was very interesting because what Matt was even asking, he basically just kind of really point blank was like, well, do you think a lot of this was your fault? And I was like, yeah, I actually had to say, and I remember it was so oh my gosh, making this season was the most embarrassing, like humbling, just I'm a pile of absolute dog duke. And I would have to be like, and now listen to my dog duke on display.
Right.
And when Matt asked me that, I really was like, it's like resonating and reverberating back all of the things that we're intentionally learning now. But back then, when we were making the show, we sort of fell on by all of the interviews we did and all of the people we talked to and all the research and all of that stuff. So yeah, that was really, really powerful.
It's like we say all the time doing this show and speaking in front of people and doing IG lives or podcasts or phone calls or masterminds. It is all cathartic and therapeutic for us, right? Because it's like I'm talking about the same thing over and over. And first I'm talking to myself about it. And I do this in therapy too with clients. And I say it. I'm saying, you know what? What I'm saying to you right now is what I'm saying to myself.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to call you out. I'm saying to myself, we can walk through it together. And sometimes I call that a serendipitous exchange, right? And I probably talked about that before
a million times.
But it's such a cool thing that I actually coined because I've never read it anywhere else. That as I am learning from the client, I can relate to some degree. And it's not, therapy isn't about the therapist, ever. But I feel that I can be much more authentic when I say, hey, I hear you. I've gone through something similar, or I know what you're talking about there, and it's a serendipitous exchange. I'm sharing with them, they're getting something from me, and I'm actually getting something from them.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Your microphone is like under your chin. It's very hard to hear.
Scratching.
You.
Okay, sorry.
No, I mean, it just sounds like it's hard to hear you.
Oh, I see. But yeah, it's just so, it's so helpful. It's so helpful to us, and I hope it's helpful to other people as well. I think it is, because we have a lot of downloads, which is awesome.
Get to your notes, would you?
Oh, okay.
I adore
well, what are
you,
your notes? Go ahead.
You said you had a bunch of notes.
Well, I do, but you go ahead too.
Well, my one, again, I go to this all the time, but making this season was so amazing because it was like the most intentional immersion into what am I doing? Who am I becoming? How am I growing? And then going like, I know. I'll talk to the greatest people about it. I'll call Dr. Dan Siegel.
Right.
And Mike McHargue from the Liturgist podcast. I'll ask
several
Dr.
New York
and
Times,
Leslie Parrott.
Leslie
New York Vernick.
Times bestsellers.
It's crazy. And so just that experience alone, when I re-listen to it, I'm like, wow, what a gift just making this show was. And we did it ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we said, we're going to do this big crazy thing and go on this giant adventure because we want to.
Yeah.
We want to dive into the hardest, worst, most embarrassing, most shaming, most humiliating stuff, show everybody, talk to specialists and therapists and all these people about it, and then figure out what happened and how it can help others. And I just think it's amazing. And for me in particular, because I had to edit it and create it, it's like a whole universe. Like I was just in our kids' bedroom stretching while I re-listened to it right before we came in here, and I was on another planet.
Were you taken aback?
I was in a different universe.
What was going on?
I wasn't even here. Like it was just the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Says, I just found you guys and you are great. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here.
Awesome. Thank
It is awesome.
JJ's girl.
JJ's girl.
Good word. So, okay, here's when I said, I'm going to preach. So when I was listening to that episode, and it kind of mixed in with the Hide Your Guns episode too. And this is really interesting because we all, and if you haven't had it, you will have it, I believe, in your marriage or just in your personal life or in your family life. Like we all have a time where we are just at rock bottom, right? That can be with substance use, rock bottom, alcohol, whatever. Or it can be depression, it can be anxiety. For us, our rock bottom was in episode 11, where I was literally, I thought that you were going to kill me. And that's scary. That's not a place where anybody wants to be, right? Maybe some of our listeners have been there before. It sucks. And then I locked myself in our room, as we talked about in episode 11, and I'm just on my face like I have nothing. I have zero. And I'm not talking about I didn't have any fight left in me. I'm saying there's no use in fighting. It was still there, but I realized there was no use in fighting. I can do nothing. And it was a 100% total reliance on God, right? And that was probably the most hardest most greatest place that I've ever been, right? And that was the rock bottom. Now, you might say, well, you were like totally relying on God. How can it be rock bottom? It rock bottom in the sense of like I was dead, kind of thing, you know, and I didn't have anything else to lift me up except the greatest thing, right? Like faith in God. And Dave Ramsey talks about when he went bankrupt, and he talks about this all the time on the show, when he went bankrupt, thinking that like he just had a little kid. I think he had an older kid and like a little baby or something. Maybe it was Rachel, I don't know. And he was afraid that people were coming to take his furniture out of his house because he went completely bankrupt. They got the cars. It's like, are they going to take literally our couch kind of thing? And that was the time when he planted his flag in the ground, said, absolutely no more, no matter what. I will literally die and disintegrate before I even come close to letting this type of thing happen again, right? So from that, it's literally like the story of the Phoenix. And don't say Harry Potter.
Fox. F-A-U-X.
Yes, F-A-U-X. But rising from the ashes, like you have to be burnt down, destroyed, completely humbled, maybe humiliated, just almost dead. And then you go, okay, now is the time to rebuild. Now is the time to go. And thank Jesus, Lord, baby Jesus.
Sweet baby Jesus.
That there was still fight left in me, right? So I had something totally destroyed, and then like, okay, let's rebuild this.
I think that you
know what
got,
I'm saying?
and I mean, this sounds fun. Yeah, I do know what you're saying, but I think what we were doing in the past, or what we were doing before we got to that point of hitting rock bottom, was we were trying to lean on ourselves and our own understanding.
Right.
We were idiots.
And defend what we thought was right. Back and forth all the time.
And so I think
I'm right, you're right. Well, family order, your honor's this. Blah, you know?
and so I think what happened is we got to rock bottom, and it was a little bit of like a forced hand, like, all right, can you stop it being idiots now? And so we stopped being idiots and then leaned on Jesus, I believe, and leaned on our faith, and I leaned on Joyce Meyer. I don't know what.
We had a bazillion resources, right? And figuring out growth versus fixed mindset was a huge one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that was maybe probably one of the first forays into this new, like I've always done things weird and kind of had a growth mindset and not wanted to do what other people have done kind of thing, but always teetered. Like as a number 9, I'm very like creative and independent, but always I kind of feared what other people would think, so that's held me back in a way. But I've always had that fundamental, let's do this, I can do this, nobody else is doing it, I'll do it kind of thing. And then with just different resources, Carol Dweck, TED Talks, growth versus fixed mindset, and then Tony Robbins, and just everybody you hear everybody talking about, Lewis Howes, all these guys, just consuming that, I mean, every single second, bringing that in. And thankfully, you were doing it too. And so we had that parallel process where they talk about, that's a family therapy term, there's a parallel process that we walked through it together, like on train tracks, right?
Yeah.
They're the same distance apart, but they're parallel wherever they go, curving, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes someone was way ahead, sometimes the other person was way behind, but still we were on that parallel process together. Somebody says, can you do a self-check before you get there? I'm not sure what that means.
See if you can add to that question, because we want to answer it, but I'm not catching what you're meaning either. But one thing I did want to say too that Joyce Meyer talks about is the old man dying and the new man being born within Christianity, faith, and baptism and what is the word I'm trying to think?
Old made new,
like
idea.
Being a Christian. What is it called? Being saved? What is the term?
I'm not sure what you're saying.
I can't think of it. But anyway, she uses that term a lot, where you have to, the old man needs to die and the new one needs to be born. The old person, the old version of you needs to die, the new one needs to be born. And the image that came to my mind as you were talking just now is this idea of like, we need to bury this old version of self, which is what we did. And it took a long time because it was like the zombie apocalypse. Yes, born again. Thank you. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But when we need to literally bury, and that's what baptism is representing, is like you go underwater, you die, and you are resurrected again. Like it's representing like cleanliness and starting over. And one thing that came to my head is like, so imagine the old behaviors that we had as clothing. So my old behaviors are like my 90s ravers outfits, right? Like
Jinkos.
beads everywhere, Jinkos,
Your
and
candy raver?
my candy raver. I don't know why I was a candy raver when I was 14, but I was. Binkies, glowing pacifiers, and like rainbow eyelashes. I totally did that. I was such a candy raver. I don't know why.
A separation right now.
But listen, it's like if I'd kept all of those clothes, but I wanted to be, I wanted to get like a raise, and I wanted to be a lawyer now. And now I'm a lawyer, but I still dress like a candy raver. I am never going to become an actual lawyer and get a job because I am wearing my old clothes. They are no longer appropriate. And that's what I think of like our behaviors. We tend to want to drag them all around. And it's just like baggage we don't need that's keeping us down. It's actually keeping us stuck. And it's things like a negative attitude, not a growth mindset, a fixed mindset, like self-doubt, sarcasm, all of these things. If we carry them around and drag them around, we are literally like, we're stopping ourselves from making the progress that we want to make.
So here's what I
shout out to Jinkos.
No, not. So you don't lay linoleum on a dirty floor, right? If you guys listen for any seconds, we redid this whole house, right? We tore up crap with rat crap and everything. So you don't lay a new
Start over.
A new linoleum floor on dirt, right? On a dirty piece of wood. You take up all that crap, you get it clean as you can, you alcohol it, you denature it, you do all this weird chemical stuff to it, and you don't build on non-level ground, right? I mean, this is obviously like construction metaphors and stuff like that. You don't do that because if you do that, it may work for 2 seconds, but then that floor is going to start to bubble up or whatever,
crack,
like peel and get dirt, and you'd be like, oh my goodness, 2 months in,
you did all that work and now it's getting ruined.
It's junk. And then you have to redo it. You have to tear up that old linoleum floor with the glue and all this stuff, right?
And you don't keep that old linoleum floor.
And
you throw it away.
Right. And you have to spend money and time and effort, because my dad actually used to say this. He said, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Right? And our marriage had to be, it was definitely worth doing over, right? But it had to be done right, because there was no way in H that I was going to relive the first, 7 years of our marriage. I would kill myself. Maybe that was dramatic.
It was a little dramatic.
We wouldn't be together. How about that? Because it would just be
it would tear us apart.
It would tear it would tear us apart, and we would go even more crazy. Okay, somebody said, is there more info on growth versus fixed mindset or the parallel process? Yes, there is.
We don't have parallel process information, but we could definitely do parallel process information. But there is an episode about growth and fixed mindsets. If you search it, you literally Google Anatomy of Marriage, Growth and Fixed Mindsets.
But even better, look up the author Carol Dweck, Dweck, and she has TED Talks and all that stuff,
and
obviously can explain it way better than we can. Yeah, and it's a book. So yes, excellent question. But just the point of,
wait, her book is called Grit, I think, by Carol Dweck, right?
Okay. I think that's right. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
You can get it for free if you visit audibletrial.com/anatomy of marriage. You can get the audiobook.
Girlfriend, what a segue. Say that one more time.
You can get it for free if you visit audibletrial.com/anatomy of marriage.
That's right.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, just to go more on the construction metaphors and stuff, you have to clean it out. You have to plan. You have to do all this stuff. And, of course, premarital stuff doesn't do that, which I think we suffered from, actually. And then if you did do that, because basically every couple that we talk to has done some form of that, and they're asking us, oh, geez, how do we, how'd you get through this, all this stuff. You have to realize that, be accountable for it, and be willing to do it again. And you have to own all of your crap. Oh, you know what? She's mad at me because I did do a crappy job putting the linoleum down. And I have to own the fact. Well, you didn't tell me you wanted it this way, and you should have known what glue. No, that's not extreme ownership. Are you kidding? I was in charge of putting the floor down. I did a poor job. It's my freaking fault, right? If you don't have a growth mindset and you're sarcastic and critical and all these other things about your spouse, and you blame and you a whole host of what we both did, don't think that you're going to have anything good if you continue doing that in life, first of all, and then second of all, with your relationship to your spouse, and third of all, with your kids, and fourth of all, at your job or anything. It doesn't work that way. And that is the most valuable lesson that I learned throughout this whole entire process, and I'm still learning by listening to great books like Extreme Ownership and other things. It's you absolutely have to take that look and own your stuff. David Goggins, who wrote an awesome, unbelievable book called Can't Hurt Me, has a thing called I think it's called, Tierney would know, the accountability mirror.
Oh, yeah.
That might not be right.
I don't think that's totally right.
The truth mirror or something like that. But it's like when you look at yourself deep in the eye, just like deep, deep, deep in your eye, and go, all right, this is me. Who am I hiding from? I can't lie to myself because that doesn't last very long. And honesty mirror. I knew you would know it. Tierney, thank you. The honesty mirror. You have to be honest with yourself, because if you can't be honest with yourself, if you don't have that, you cannot give it to your spouse or to other people. I use this example in therapy too. If I have $1 and I'm like, Melanie, I want to give you $2 so bad. Oh my gosh, I will give you $2. You got this $2. You got it, you got it, you got it. I want to do it, but I don't even have it in my pocket. It's universally, physically impossible that that's going to happen. So how in the world can a husband or can a wife expect to have these things if you don't have it yourself? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a rant. Who is the author of the Can't Hurt Me book? He's called David Goggins. Now, he cusses like crazy, but that brings the fire for me. Yeah, it's awesome.
I didn't know that. It's awesome.
It really is, because you're like, okay, I'm running 500 miles. If you listen to it on Audible, oh my gosh.
Maybe I will. I have a credit coming up soon.
It is bad.
That is too funny.
So, yeah.
It's so bad it's good.
You'll run 500 miles just
I don't know.
after you listen to that. So, okay, I've been talking for like 10 minutes. Thoughts, please.
Let me think about what I wanted to say. Sorry, someone else wrote Honesty Mirror. So I'm trying to think of what you said that I wanted to comment on.
Are you going to cut this part out of the show?
Yes, I will edit it out. I'm just trying to think.
Thank you, Brittany.
Love you too.
Love you too.
Golly.
Okay,
so,
obviously this will not be in the show, so...
I know, we'll edit it out. But I was trying to think of what you were saying before that. Extreme ownership. Yeah, I think... I know what I was going to say. So it's really interesting because just today, as a parent, homeschooling our children, trying to bake them some sourdough, starting a sourdough starter, making mini loaves.
But we can't even eat it. So I come home
now
to
quit it.
A full house of steaming bread.
Not on topic.
Sorry.
So we're baking the sourdough. We're doing all of the homeschooling things because it's COVID-19. We're in quarantine. We can't do anything, and I'm homeschooling all of a sudden.
Right.
And one of our kids flips his lid, and I am done. I have dealt with this for all of last summer. Was miserable because of this particular kid flipping his lid all the time. So I sat everybody down today and I talked through all of the things about literally what happens when we make choices every single day, and every single day those choices add up to at the end of the day, we have argued this many minutes. So no joke. You will see it on our whiteboard in our kitchen. I did the math. I said, how many times do you guys think we argue a day? And they said, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 or 8. So I said, okay, well, let's go with 5. Maybe we argue 5 times a day. How long do those arguments last? They said, I don't know, maybe 6 to 10 minutes. Okay, we'll say they're 7 minutes long. We did the math. And I made my children add up how many hours that equaled in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. We totaled what we think is 1,440 hours of arguing. 1,000 hours of arguing in a year, which is 60
That's a
days.
lot.
I know it's a lot. It's a stupid amount because every single day someone is fighting about something. And so I promise this is related.
Yeah, I was about
So
to ask
I promise
myself.
it's related. So what we had to, I'm teaching my children the stuff I wish that I had known because I was just like this kid that drives me crazy, who I love dearly, but he drives me crazy. So what I told him was, every day when you make a choice that harms someone else, hurts their feelings, whatever, it is cumulative on this little track. And eventually you've spent hour after hour after hour doing this thing every single day, and everyone's a culture. We all are used to it, right? And then at the end of that 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you realize you have made a trail away from relationships, away from love, away from care. You don't know how to get back. And I was so, I want to say angry, but more like,
You were heated.
I was heated, but not mad at them. I was like, this is so important. And this is the kind of crap that I wish someone had said to me. I wish our therapist, when we were going through this, would have said, look, Melanie, stop being such a naggy B word. That's all you do to him.
Right.
All you do is tell him what he does wrong. All you do is tell him how he didn't do it right, what he didn't think of, where he didn't turn, what he didn't say. What is he doing right?
Right. So if you're a spouse and you're doing that, if you're having that behavior, like the little diatribe I just went on a minute ago, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is what?
I didn't mean to touch your microphone.
Oh, what do I think is going to happen if I'm just racking out credit card and just throwing bills around? What do I think is going to happen at the end of the month? Like Dave Ramsey says, there's more
There's not enough money for the month, or what does he say?
It's something funny.
We can't say it right.
There's more month than there is money.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're out of money. So when we treat other people that way, in whatever we feel is like we're deserving, or they should know, or me, blah, 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 don't be surprised when you wake up and your spouse is like, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah, well, think of it like this. My dad used to call our kid, the kid that we struggle with, he would call him an emotional terrorist.
Yeah.
And he would call him that all the time. And that's exactly what I was doing to you. I was holding you hostage with and who likes the person that holds them hostage? I know there's a thing. Don't go into the therapy thing of it. But I know, like, what person goes, oh, I'm just so glad someone's got a gun pointed at me and they're making me do things I don't want to do.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yes, please don't start, Mr. Therapist.
Okay.
I got it. You've got a master's degree of science.
Right. Somebody says, hold on, this is a funny quote. Somebody says that they listen to the podcast after I watch the lives recorded podcast, and I feel like I know them.
That's so fun.
That is funny. That's why we want to do it, because like, hey, this is fun. Like, I wish that
it does
other
make it more fun
podcasts I love did this. I'd be like, of course I'll check
totally
that out.
do that. But yeah,
it's like getting to hang out twice.
Right. That's the thing that I think of when I listen back is that, what I want to like shake people out there who are doing this. Do not be an emotional terrorist to your spouse. Do not expect. And I was totally doing this with you. I was expecting that I could like unload like a whole arsenal. I don't know, a belt of bullets? What is that called? Machine gun belt? Tough knows the name for it. He told me the other day.
I don't know.
Like a sash of bullets. I would be unloading the sash of bullets. And I expected that Seth would still love me and be kind and be happy. And like want to go places with me. Why would I ever expect that? And it's reflected so strongly and in such stark contrast when our kid does it to me that it makes me so, not angry at him, but angry that I didn't know how to do it differently. And I will die before our children. If they ever treat someone the way I did, I will do everything to stop that.
That may be a good example of parallel process.
Oh,
you have lived through it. You treated other people exactly that way. You're on the other side of it now. So now your actual responsibility is to teach it.
Yeah. And what's so sad is that I see when we speak at live events, it's often the wives that do this. It's often the wives that come up and they are, because we're taught this. Oh, we're totally culturally taught this. It's in every TV show you watch. The wife is mean and snarky and snide and ugly to her husband, yet she totally anticipates that If she cries, he's right there. He's going to love her. He's going to get her the flowers. He's going to buy her the ring. He's going to get her the new car for Christmas. But she can be a total jerk to him. And that's what I was doing. And why was I saying that?
Well, on the converse of that, of course, I believe that TV shows and also culture perpetuates this too. The guy comes home or whatever, wants to watch the game or starts drinking or whatever, and then at night expects sex or something like that.
There's no connection,
or
but
some kind of intimacy.
I know why I was saying
why would we as guys expect that? No, it's like, come on, no. You think the real world doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Money, finance doesn't work that way. Our jobs, our bosses don't work that way. If you are a boss, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and the thing that I see is when we speak at events, it's almost always a woman, like the wife is coming up, and the first thing she does is she'll tell me what the husband did wrong, and then tell me what he still is doing wrong. And it's like, well, what part do you play in this? Because you are like telling, like he's right there, like he can hear you. I can see that I can hear you, and he's here, and we're all here. And she is just like, well, but he does this and he does that, and she's got a laundry list, and he is like a deer in headlights, and she is like machine gun sashing all day long, but does not see that is not awesome, and it sucks. And you said this, I think, in our last episode or in a live or something, but it's like, you would never treat a friend that way. You would never treat like an acquaintance that way. But we as wives, we learn to do that. And then we just, I don't know, it's such a terrible, terrible thing. And I totally taught our kids. I totally taught them how to do that. And it's abysmal, and I hate it. And I feel more motivated to change it and to clarify it in my own mind. Like, this is not okay, and here's why. And let me think about why. And here's how we change it. And the hardest part about this, so honestly, this is just my little rant.
Hey, Steven.
But the hardest part about this, when you're in the moment, when you're doing something that you know is wrong, is you have to stop. That's it. And that's the worst thing. You can't talk your way out of it. You can't blame your way out of it. You can't fight your way out of it. You just have to stop. And that's what I was telling all 3 of our children. I gave them each a thing. I'm like, I'll list them off. I'm like, Hattie, you cannot manhandle the dog like that. You have got to stop. You have to stop. And when I tell you to stop, don't tell me why. Don't tell me you're not. Don't tell me he likes it. Don't, whatever. Same thing with Mariner. I was like, when you interrupt and you add your 2 cents to everyone's conversation, the only thing that's okay is stop.
It's not helpful.
Right? And then with Tough, the same thing. Like, you're not being appreciative or kind or whatever the thing is. The only thing is to stop it dead in its tracks. Otherwise, you're feeding it. It's going to grow. It's just terrible. Yes, self-correction. That's exactly right. And it's so frustrating because I am like the most doggedly determined. I'm like a rat terrier who wants something, like digging a hole. And I'm just like, I'm going to go. I don't care. I know the thing's not there. I know I'm not really going to win, but I can still dig this hole. And it's miserable for everybody who's involved. And all 3 of our kids do it. Sort of. Not terribly, but I don't know.
I've only given them the good traits, apparently.
Nice try.
I think that's true.
I don't know. I just really love this episode, and I hope that you guys love this episode. I really hope that you download, because right now, the workbook, the companion workbook, the best marriage workbook ever, which goes along with season 1, is only $9. It's only $9.99, and you can get it right now. You can go to anatomyofmarriage.com, download the workbook, and go through all of the episodes with the chapters of the workbook, and there's questions. It's 90 pages, y'all. It's a real workbook.
It's a real marriage workbook. It was for sale
for $9.
Well, it was for sale for $24.99, but with COVID stuff, it's like, okay, how can we get it out there and just help people? It's there for $9.99, right? So go get it. It's good. People like it.
Yes, absolutely. So we wanted to encourage you to go get that. I hope that you loved the re-release of season 1. I absolutely adore it. And when I listen back, I get all of the feels, every single one of them, everything. I loved it so much. Thank you for doing this with me.
Oh, you know what? Thank you too. That's what I thank you for thanking me, because that reminded me to thank you. You did an excellent job. I think the growth that we both had over, since everything has been absolutely phenomenal. And it's also really beautiful to witness the current growth that we're in right now. Like, you started 75 Hard just recently. I did it a while back, and I know that we've been talking about it and stuff, but you jumped on it and you're doing it. And I think the benefits, I know the benefits will they will benefit you. They will benefit me. They will benefit our family, and even to some macro degree, our listeners and all the content that we put out there for sure. And it's just so great. So I'm super excited. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. I'm super excited about what we have in store with speaking opportunities and all these other things, right? This stupid virus has we've had to cancel
speaking
several events, like
really good ones.
A really big, 800 person marriage conference. We had to cancel it. Right? That sucks. We were supposed to fly to Nashville to do this other stuff in front of 1,000 people. Canceled. Oh, great. We were supposed to go on a TV show. Canceled. Great. So hopefully that all that stuff will be rescheduled. It's all in good timing. We're just getting better and better, and our game is getting stronger. 100%.
I'm really excited for the future. And actually, so you commented in this, it says, don't forget about the marriage app. Thank you for saying that, because that is one of the things, when I was listening back to the very last episode, I said in the very end credits, which won't be in this cut, I don't think, but I said, we're getting ready for season 2. It's really delicious. I'm really excited about it. And I have all these ideas for apps, blah, 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 blah.
And now they're here.
Back then, that was a dream.
Right.
To create a marriage app was a dream. I thought, that's the most lofty thing. I will probably not ever be able to achieve it, but I'm going to throw it out into the universe.
But it happened.
I'm going to speak that into existence, and it freaking happened.
So okay, so you guys, we interviewed Anthony O'Neill just yesterday, and it was awesome, and he has one of my new favorite sayings. Do you remember what he said?
Oh yeah.
What is it?
It's something like you seek, I can't ever say it right.
Anthony, if you're watching, I'm sorry that if I get this wrong, but I think it's if you, and I'll write it down next time I hear it, you seek what you speak, right? Is that it?
I can't remember.
So you seek what you speak, and this is for an episode tomorrow during our live. I have a really good topic to go on tomorrow. So I'm so embarrassed because it's like the idea, like you seek what you speak, like what you focus on,
expands.
Where focus goes,
energy flows.
Right.
Yes.
And mouth, speaking it out there, right? So you spoke into existence, just the idea, you put it out there. App, right? The same thing with this freaking property that we're on. It's beautiful. It's like a park and a zoo with wild animals.
It's beautiful.
It's like Yellowstone National Park.
Can you stay on one
yes, I
analogy
can.
and on
However,
point?
But it took us 4 years to get this place, right? Through persistence, through thinking it and speaking it into existence. And now we're here. And I just am excited about all the other stuff that we're thinking about and hoping to speak into existence. And if that's the plan, then we're going to make it happen. And so, and I get to do it with you and the kids, and it's just awesome. And our listeners, we pray every day that it's beneficial to whoever listens. Are you rolling your eyes? Am I done?
Back to the app. I'm very excited about the app and how it is impacting marriages and helping people. And it will soon be named the Anatomy of Marriage app, which I'm even more excited about. That's a change that's coming that I'm super jazzed about. But it's just, there's something so incredibly amazing about, we have worked so hard to make this show happen. Season 1 it took a year of dedication. It was hard. It was incredibly hard. We recorded our own fights. We recorded ourselves, literally arguing and crying and getting mad, and then had to listen back and edit it and pull out the worst parts to show people. And then talk to, amazingly wise people about it. Be like, what are your thoughts? What is
JoJo Siwa?
Derail this. JoJo Siwa! Y'all!
If you see it, you can do it.
Oh my gosh. A DREAM. Oh, anyway, that's getting cut.
Sorry.
But
no, leave it.
Oh my gosh. So I just think it's amazing, and I'm so passionate about the podcast and the apps and the events. And again, I want to speak this into existence because maybe there's some videographer, TV show producer watching. Ooh. We want to make a show. We were talking about this the other day that I really want to make a show. I don't know if you really
TV
do.
Show.
A TV show where we go, it's almost like Super Nanny. Like we go to people's homes and we process, and this is parallel process actually. That's exactly what it would be because we are helping a couple process their own things that they're walking through, but we have to process them for ourselves as we process them.
Right.
Because we will, of course, we'll get in conflict. We got in conflict 9 seconds ago. Y'all saw it. And it's really amazing because no one cares about marriage information until their marriage hits the crap fan.
Right.
No one cares because marriage stuff is boring, or it's fake, or it's so picture perfect, barfy. We go to the beach and our hair is long, and look at how we run with no shoes on, and that doesn't happen.
Do you go to a gas station if you don't need gas?
No, you don't.
You don't hang out there?
No, I
and
don't.
Just look at gas?
That's good. That's good. You
Right?
don't look at gas.
Yeah, you don't look at and smell it and then the gas, No, you don't. You go to the gas station when you need something,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people do premarital when they're about to get married.
No,
and
someone
it's
pitch it to TLC.
Exactly.
Come on.
You do premarital when it's a check the box list, when you're goofy pastor who was a youth pastor who's like,
Don't be throwing shade.
Sorry,
We know loads of
some
youth
shade.
pastors.
But I'm speaking the truth. It's like, you don't care about a stupid pre-marriage book.
No.
Oh, well, you can't get married in the church because she wants to unless you do a pre-marriage.
Unless you fill out these 27 pages, which watch how I'm going to fill out these. I'm not going to read anything.
You got to be kidding me. So you don't care about that stuff. I don't care. I'm a therapist. I mean, I read therapy books anyway, but that's my job. That's my career. So I care about it. But most people don't care about biology unless they're in class and they want to get a B to maintain their scholarship. You know what I'm saying? On some elective or something. So that's we want to make it different.
Flip
right?
it. Like, if you have seen the documentary Cheer, I don't care about cheerleading, but gosh, I love that documentary. I mean, I was like, the series was so enthralling because I was in it. And I got to see it.
There's
But
narrative,
I will never watch
characters.
anything else about Cheer ever in my life unless they make a season
It could
2.
be a new Netflix series.
I know.
It honestly could.
Seriously, spread the word. Help us get there, you guys.
Who lives in LA? Quick.
All right.
Call our agent.
But anyway.
We don't have an agent.
I am just so excited about this show. I'm so excited for moving forward. We're going to be doing a lot more lives. We're going to be doing more podcasts and answering questions again like we did between when we re-released and all that jazz.
Yes.
So if you've got questions, send them in. We like even the parallel process, that will be an episode. And I'm just so excited for moving forward and what this is going to look like and seeing our dreams come true.
Yeah.
I totally
Seeing the
do
dreams
believe
come
it.
true.
JoJo Siwa style.
And you guys, so we do go live on Instagram and Facebook Live every morning with a little thing called Anatomy of Marriage, Marriage Mornings, right? And usually it's around 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're doing this new thing on when we go live on Instagram, send a request to talk about a relevant topic, not just to say hey and talk about a grocery list, but to talk about or send in a question. We will approve you to join us live on the show, right? On IG Live. So do that. Think about your questions. Also remember to email questions at hello@anatomyofmarriage.com. And 2 things. If you've liked any of the books that we've talked about, you can go to audibletrial.com/anatomy of marriage to get a free audiobook. Get Extreme Ownership. Get Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Get Grit by Carol Dweck for free on us. Audibletrial.com/anatomy of marriage. And also, the best marriage workbook ever used to be $24.99 for like a year. Guess what? It's $9.99 now.
$9.
$9.99. Oh, you go to Starbucks. You obviously
You
spend
can't
more
go to
than that.
Starbucks.
Well,
so
you gotta go through a drive-through, and the
go
line
to
is
an
800 miles long. Will the lives turn into podcast in case we miss them?
We're working on it. I
working on
just downloaded a Google Chrome extension that makes how stupid is that? But that's what I did. So I'm trying. I downloaded one today and I'm going to work on that. It's but yeah, I'm hoping that I can do that.
Yeah. So you guys, we're in it to win it. We're in it to give and
Spin it.
serve and spend whatever. I don't know. We're here to grow, have a growth mindset, and to put out content that actually helps marriages and singles and people in general. So we love you guys. Whoa, look at the reflection of the candles. That's pretty cool.
They're beautiful. Beautiful.
Nice. Okay, we love you guys. Got anything else, girlfriend?
No, please rate and review the podcast. That stupid review that says I interrupt Seth all the time is the
That's like
only
100
one I
years old.
see. I literally
Get
don't
over
see.
it.
I am so sick of it.
Have a growth mindset.
I do have a growth mindset. We love you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we will catch you for a marriage morning and other episodes coming soon.
All right, looking
All
forward to it.
right.
Bye. All right.
Dun, dun,
Thanks,
dun,
guys.
dun,
Love you too.
love
Thanks,
you.
K-Home. So we're not recording the podcast anymore now.
Well, we're done now.
But I got a gallon of water and
I know
an
you
hour and
do.
a half. A gallon of water to drink and an hour and a half of workouts
gotta-
still.
It's gonna be a late
So,
night.
Yeah, you guys catch us tomorrow morning and
7:30 a.m.
well, maybe a little bit later because I'm going to bed super late. But all right, anything else?
Oh my gosh, it's 9:40.
Oh god.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Have a good night.
Good night, guys.